Broken Live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Minnesota Vikings. Why the Minnesota Vikings 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all? Anybody going to spend any time with me here this evening? I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Or anybody spends any time watching a replay of this. Once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys rock. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, as I always try to do. Shoot my mouth off. Anybody got anything to say, just please feel free to throw it in the chat box. I usually check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, anybody got anything to say, just throw it away in there. And I always try to respond to everything that gets put in there, right? Before we get started, just want to say, anybody want to help support my channel, it would mean the world, absolute world to me. If you click the top link in the description box below, all right, it'll take you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. One's the Saquon, the second one's the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, right? There's loyalty badges, which are pretty cool. There's 8 different loyalty badges. They're all different Giants helmets. Now, the older the helmet is, the longer you've been a member or supporter of my channel, right? There's also emojis. As of right now, there's 4 emojis. Eventually, I will be having a 5th one coming out. I had the emojis made on Fiverr. They're pretty cool. I get a kick out of every time I look at them. They crack me up. But you can use them, I guess, in the chat box, or if you make a comment or whatever, that. So anybody wants to help support my channel, once again, it would mean the absolute world to me. And then if you're not subscribed to my channel, right, please click that subscribe button below. Hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. Hold on a second. Oh, watch out, buddy. My dog just knocked the chair over. You'll be notified, okay? And it's free of charge, too. Then finally, in the description box below, there's actually 3 links for Facebook. The top link is to a link to a group, a Giants group I have. It's called the Gridiron, right? Right now we have over 1,900 members in the group. I put stuff in there, at least 5 to 10 items, posts every day, between just a post and a video. I put stuff on there all the time. And then the nice thing about that is, if you're in the group, you become a member, you can post stuff in there as well, too. So not only, like somebody here just posted, get ready for the Giants and the Vikings with the 2003 upset in Minnesota. Somebody just posted something in there. Like the Giants went into Minnesota and they, upset the Vikings in 2003. But I mean, between like me and the other people in the group posting stuff, I mean, there's at least probably close to 10 different things going in here every day. All right. And I said, if you become a member too, you can post stuff in here as well. Then also, you got there's 2 more links. Okay, both of them are pages. Okay, the bottom link, the bottom Facebook link, okay, is it's a page. All right, it's called This Day in Giants History. As of right now, I'm not that active in it. You can certainly click on it, like it, and become a follower of it. Without question. But as of right now, I'm not really spending a lot of time in there, because right now, during the season, between the YouTube channel, the Facebook group, and the Facebook page, I'm spending like 2-3 hours every day just doing stuff in there. So I don't have a lot of time. So the bottom link, the bottom Facebook link that goes to the page, This Day in Giants History, eventually, probably after the season's over with, I'll start spending more time in that one, okay? But it doesn't mean you can't, I'll click on it and like it and become a follower. But the middle link, okay, it's a page. It's called, very original. It's called the New York Giants, called the Gridiron, right? But the page, that's this one. I'm the only one. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one who really posts anything in there. But once again, I spend a lot of time in there every day, probably close to about half an hour to an hour every day, just putting posts in there, and videos as well too. Okay, and I don't commingle. Whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group, and likewise, right? So whatever's in the page, whatever's on the group, you got like 5 to 10 new videos and posts every day, and they're different. Okay, so as of right now in the page, I got 448 people who like it, and over 1,300 people who are following it. Right, the followers are going up. I'm getting probably 20 to 30 people every day following it, and the likes go up as well every day too. So in the description box, click on the Facebook group. All right, become a member. And then the link below that, there's the Facebook page, the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Like that and become a follower too. If you're not happy, money. I always say this. I don't know why, but money back guarantee. If you're not happy, all right. So with all that stuff out of the way, all right, I'll tell you, we got 1:00 tomorrow, right? In Minnesota, it's gonna be loud. Very, very loud. Now the Vikings, they've already sewn up, playoff spot. The Giants haven't sewn up anything yet. They could tomorrow if they win and they get a little bit of help on the outside. Because I forgot who it is. Between the Commanders, the Lions, and the Seahawks, they got some tough games. So a couple of those teams can certainly lose tomorrow. And if the Giants could win, the Giants might secure themselves a playoff berth, first time since 2016, right? But the injury report is, I'll tell you what, it seems like it's finally for the Giants. The Giants are starting to get a little luck on their side as far as the injuries. We're not getting, knock on wood, of course, additional injuries, right? We still got Adoree Jackson's out, Shane Lemieux's out. Hopefully, if the Giants can make the playoffs, right? With any luck, hopefully, that would be what? If the Giants can make the playoffs, it would be an additional 3 weeks, right? From basically tomorrow, 3 more weeks. With any luck, maybe we can get Adoree Jackson back and Xavier McKinney back to help the secondary out. That would be huge. I have no idea what the heck Xavier McKinney did to his hand on the bye week. Hopefully, somewhere along the line, he maybe wises up and doesn't decide to do stuff like that, or maybe skydiving, or trying to wrestle with sharks or stuff like that. Maybe on his bye week, maybe he'll take it easy, maybe take care of his body and everything, because we certainly could use him in the secondary. And I don't know. I guess his hand, his bones, they're not stable or whatever, so they can't really club it up for him to have him play. So hopefully somewhere along the line in the next few weeks, especially if we can make the playoffs, hopefully we'll get Xavier McKinney back. And you keep hearing, Brian Daboll with at the press conferences, how's Adoree Jackson doing? Oh, he's getting better. The next day, how's Adoree Jackson doing? Oh, he's getting better. And the next day, how's Adoree Jackson? He's getting better. Well, apparently he's not getting good enough to play. So Lord knows, how bad he banged his knee up, returning a punt. But, basically between Lemieux and Jackson, they're both out. But everybody, we got Evan Neal, shoulder. He was limited in practice, but he should be good to go. Kayvon Thibodeau, he was limited in practice during the week, he got elbow. Nick Vannett with the shoulder, he was limited. Leonard Williams with his neck, we need him in there. And Isaiah Hodgins, who just popped up with a calf, but he was a full participant in Thursday's practice. So the Giants are, somewhat healthy. I'm almost surprised. I almost said that in the same sentence. I'm almost shocked. The Giants and health together in the same sentence is just sounds kind of weird. The Vikings, they got their center, their starting center, Bradbury. He's out. Okay, Eric Kendricks, he's hip. He's kind of questionable. I mean, and Cam Dantzler, he's questionable. He's one of their cornerbacks with an ankle. Okay, but everybody else seems to be just fine on their team, so they're relatively healthy as well too. So, the Giants, it's nice to see that finally, for once, they seem like they're kind of getting healthy, right? Last week against the Commanders, they went into the game and they came out relatively healthy. So as I said, hopefully somewhere along the line we can get Adoree Jackson back. I mean, I said, especially if we make it to the playoffs. I said the same thing with McKinney. We need like all hands on deck once you get to the playoffs. Because, if we lose here, okay, we'll be 8-6-1. We can still beat the Colts and have a very good chance to make the playoffs, right? But you're going to obviously, no need to say, you go in the playoffs and you lose one game. Okay, we'll see you next year. All right, so. But I wanted to go over, like some of I don't want, make like a prediction and all of that and everything. But first of all, I wanted to go over the this article I saw here. Okay, it was rather interesting. It was talking about the interior of the Minnesota's offensive line. Now they got Christian Darrisaw, who's playing very, very well. Okay, now whoever's going up against him gonna have a hard. He's been doing very, very well. Their tackles have been doing very well. Okay, so between Kayvon and Azeez, all right, they're going to have to have their hands full with the tackles. Okay, certainly doesn't mean they can't beat them, but they'll have their hands full. It's going to, which leads the interior of the Vikings offensive line a little on the weak side, especially because with Bradbury, their starting center, he's out. They got a backup in there, okay, and their two guards are not performing very well at all. Not only are their two guards not performing very well at all, but Kirk Cousins, when he's under pressure, does not perform very well at all either. So the keys look like here to victory, okay, is, on offense, we have to protect the football. If we got to punt it, you got to punt it. Okay, it's indoors. Hopefully the Scottish Hammer, it won't be affected by no wind or nothing like that. If we need to punt it, hopefully he can boom the ball, right? But, no interceptions. And I so much easier said than done. I get that, no strip sacks, no Daniel Jones standing in the pocket, strip sack, ball out. Minnesota gets it. Minnesota ball the other way, deep in Giant territory. No stupid interceptions, And it's so easy to say that. I get it. But, we have to protect the ball, right? But the thing here with the interior line, okay, of the Minnesota Vikings, this is a Vikings wire. Now, there's a Giants wire, there's Vikings wire. I'm sure there's the Steelers wire, the Cowboys wire, so, but it's from the Vikings. It says when the Vikings take on the Giants this Saturday, they will be without starting center Garrett Bradbury for the third straight week, which bids well for the Giants, okay? Although backup center Austin Schlottman has filled in decently well in Bradbury's absence, this weekend might be a different story. Now, it says here the Giants' defense is one of the worst in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, I mean, we're not one of the, because we got a lot of guys injured, right? And we're very bad against the run, even when we got a healthy secondary in there and all. So, right, but they blitz at the highest rate in the league, okay, which could mean that Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins could be in for a long day, right? Apparently, I was listening to one of the podcasts on the Giants network, and I can't remember the gentleman's name who follows the Vikings. Okay, what he was talking about is he says Kirk Cousins likes to, and I'm sure every quarterback is the same way. What Kirk Cousins likes to do is he likes to go up to the line of scrimmage, okay, and look, right, and acknowledge what defense the other team's in. Okay. All right. This is okay. All right. They're too deep. This guy might be coming, or, he wants to know what's going on. Right. So he's not very good, okay, at trying to change stuff up on the fly, meaning like all of a sudden, he drops back to pass and the three guys are in the box. The three guys in the second, the one safety in the box, he comes. Kayvon Thibodeau drops back into coverage. The cornerback, he's blitzing. For some reason, Dexter Lawrence drops back. And, obviously the same thing with a lot of other quarterbacks as well, too, screws them up. But apparently, listen to this guy who covers the Vikings. He said that screws with Kirk Cousins quite a bit. He's not very, very good at that, okay? Kirk Cousins under pressure, okay, is completed 50% of his passes. He's 87 of 173, okay, for 1,311 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. All right. Kirk Cousins kept clean, okay, is 268 out of 371. Kept clean. He's completing 72% of his passes. Under pressure, he's completing 50. That's a big difference. All right. He's 2,507 yards. Okay. 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I should have. And of course, the moron that I am didn't figure this out. Okay. So under pressure, it's 1,311 yards divided by, he's got 87 completions. Okay. Under pressure, well, it's not too bad. Under pressure, they got 15 yards of reception. Okay. So that's pretty good. Let's see. Okay. So he kept clean. Yeah, he kept clean. He completes a higher percentage of passes, but divided by 268, but they're only getting like 9 yards of reception. And so obviously, that's one of the things, obviously, as well, too. Okay. Under pressure, the guy you're sending more defensive players, therefore you have less guys in the secondary to cover and try to make the tackle. So when he does complete a pass, the guy gets more yardage. But regardless, he's only when the Giant, under pressure, right? Now, I'm not sure if that means just straight up blitzing. Like if you send more than, if you got 4 guys on the defensive line, you send a 5th guy, that means that's under pressure. Or does he actually have to be in duress where he's got guys hanging all over him? That I'm not exactly sure of. Okay. But it looks like it's just, they're talking about blitzing here. Okay. He only completes 50% of his passes, right? And it says here the Giants at 40.5% blitz more than any other team in the league. Thanks to good old Wink. Okay. The Dolphins Cardinals are the only team to blitz the Vikings, Kirk Cousins, more than 40% of the time this season. Okay, the Dolphins and Cardinals. Let me see here. The Dolphins and the Cardinals blitzed them. Okay, so what do we got here? Dolphins and Cardinals. Where are we at? Okay, the Cardinals. Okay, the Vikings beat the Cardinals 34-26. And they had 208 yards passing. They had 173 yards rushing. Okay. So they had 381 yards of total offense, but Arizona, who blitzed them a lot, got 208. They gave up 208 yards passing to Kirk Cousins. Okay. Then against the Dolphins, where the hell are the Dolphins at here? Oh, the Dolphins. There we go. They beat the Dolphins 24-16. But the Dolphins, the Vikings, okay, scored 24 points. They won 24-16 in Miami. Okay. They only got 11 first downs, the Vikings, and they only got 156 yards passing. Their worst passing performance, right? Well, shall we say, was really, really bad. The other bad performance was against the Cowboys. They got 110 yards passing, right? So the two teams that he went up against that blitzed a lot, the Cardinals and the Dolphins, okay, did not give up a lot of passing yards, okay, to the Vikings. Another thing was interesting that this gentleman was talking about on the podcast, was the Giants podcast. They were talking, as I said, I please forgive my stupidity for forgetting the guy's name, but the Giants were talking to a guy who covers the Vikings. He's been doing it for a long time. It was a great conversation. Boatload of information. This guy was really, really good. He also talked about like when the Bills. Okay, remember the Bills game, the Josh Allen fumble in the end zone. The Vikings were down by like 17 points, and they fought their way back. And I guess they were down by like whatever it was, a touchdown. And basically, Josh Allen kind of like what he needed to do was this: get the ball from center. They were at like their own one. For somehow, I have no idea. He wound up fumbling the ball, get into the end zone, whatever it was, and the Vikings recovered it for a tying touchdown, and the Vikings wound up winning in overtime, right? But that was the emotional game on the road in Buffalo. You're down by 17 points. You come from behind. You wind up tying. You wind up winning in overtime. What a game. Unbelievable game. Then the next week, okay, Minnesota came home. They're playing the Cowboys at home, and they lose 40-3. All right. So emotional game. And you could probably say the same thing about the first game of the season, too. At home against the Packers, right? First game, week 1, right? Right home. They beat the Packers 23-7. Got to be flying freaking high, okay? Flying high. We beat the Packers, baby. Here we go, right? Next week, they go on the road in Philadelphia and they lose 24-7, okay? I said, then they during the middle of the season, they got to be 8-1 by beating the Bills in Buffalo. Flying high, okay? The next week, they come home and they get blown out by the Cowboys 40-3. Absolutely, totally freaking annihilated, right? So he was pointing out also what happened last week at home. Vikings come back, the greatest comeback in the history of the NFL. They were down 33-0, and they come back to win 39-36 in overtime. Okay, might be flying high, going, right? Emotionally high, they're going crazy, right? Are they ready for another letdown this week? They're at home, right? That's a possibility. This guy pointed that out. All right, so that's another thing. Let me get here, all right. This likely isn't news for the Vikings coaches, Kevin O'Connell, who has likely built a game plan around this information about the blitzing and all that and everything. Also, Austin Schlottman is starting his third game at center, okay, for Bradbury for the Vikings as well, okay. Regardless, the Vikings offensive line will certainly have their hands full if the Giants continue to blitz at the rate in Saturday's matchup, and it's something to monitor as the game plays out. Why? Well, because the Vikings' 2 starting guards, okay, Ed Ingram and Ezra Cleveland, are number 1 and number 2 in the NFL, okay, at the guard position for pressures allowed, according to PFF. Okay. And they'll also be without the starting guard, Garrett Bradbury. Now, let me go over here. And I want to check on the PFF. I mean, these numbers are, they're not kidding. Ed Ingram, okay. Let's see. He's a guard. Okay, let me see. Snaps by position. What is he at here? No, that's not it. It's the offense? No, well. He's one of their guards. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry. He's their right guard. Okay. He's played 967 snaps so far this season. They've all been at right guard. He has not played another snap at another position all year. Okay. All at right guard. Okay. He has given up 9 sacks, Ed Ingram. Okay. Their right guard. Okay. 9 sacks, 15 hits, 27 hurries. He's given up 51 pressures. Okay. According to PFF. All right. Their other guard, all right, Ezra Cleveland. Okay. He's played 966 snaps, all at left guard. He has not played another snap at another position all year long. Left guard. 966 snaps, left guard. Okay. He's given up 4 sacks, 16 hits, 23 hurries. He's given up 43 pressures. Okay. He's given up 43 pressures, and Ed Ingram has given up 51. They've given up 94 pressures between the two of them. Okay. Between the two of them, they've given up 13 sacks. And now couple that up with you got a backup center in there. The middle of that offensive line, okay, is going to be ripe for the taking. Okay. Leo the Lion, let's hope he's healthy enough and all and plays a decent amount, okay, if not the whole game. And Sexy Dexter, the Mr. Pro Bowl himself, the middle of that line, okay, is going to be ripe for the taking. Now, Minnesota, they pass the ball about 40 times a game. They run the ball about 20 times a game. I mean, Dalvin Cook, I mean, that dude is just so good. He's so good. The problem, the shame with him is that, every now and he winds up getting hurt, But, he's only averaging about 4.5 yards a carry. Okay, he's got over 1,000 yards. What do we got here? He has 1,045 yards rushing on 230 carries, 4.5 yards a carry. He has an 81-yard rush. Okay, he's got 8 touchdowns running the ball. Okay, 2 touchdowns receiving. So he has 10 touchdowns. But you take that 181-yard rush away, he's only averaging like 4.2 yards a carry. Okay, so they're not, it's I don't know if something's got to give or whatever. I mean, the Giants defense is not very good against the run. The Vikings do not, actually yards per the Vikings only average 4.1 yards per carry, which is not very, very good. Okay. But the Giants give up a lot. So it's not like the Vikings are, should be bowling over the Giants. Okay. If the Giants can somehow keep Mr. Dalvin Cook under control, if they can. All right, they have a chance. I mean, Kirk Cousins has thrown 11 interceptions. He is under pressure and only completes like 50% of his passes. He throws interceptions. He's been sacked 40 times already this season. I think his career high was 41. So maybe by the time halftime rolls around, he will set a new getting sacked, personal sack, getting sacked record. All right. So I mean, of course, then you have to talk about the problem. Okay, is the Giants secondary. Okay, compared to the Vikings wide receivers. Now they got Hockenson. I mean, it's unbelievable. The Lions got rid of Hockenson, their tight end, okay? And all of a sudden, basically since then, all the Lions have been doing is just winning football games, right? It's like, go figure. But I mean, the Vikings got Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins is a decent quarterback, but they got Hockenson, a tight end. They got Thielen. They got, probably maybe the best wide receiver in football is Jefferson. So there lies the problem. Okay, the Giants with a banged up secondary with like backup cornerbacks in there, backup safety in there, and all have to try to somehow cover this phenomenal wide receiving group. Okay, now I don't know what Wink Martindale is going to do, if he's going to take Fabian Moreau and put him maybe on Jefferson, right, or he's going to put him on Thielen, right. You might take your best cornerback and put him on their second best wide receiver. That might kind of Thielen's good anyway. So that might kind of maybe nullify a little bit, maybe Thielen. Then what you got to do is now you got to put your second best cornerback on Jefferson, but then no matter what, he's getting help over the top, no matter what. Okay. So like you're double covering kind of whatever you want to say, Jefferson maybe on every play. So, that might be a way to go. It'd be interesting to see what Wink winds up doing. I'm sure he's going to send a lot of pressure. But the one problem is that, especially with somebody like Jefferson, or if he catches the ball, you could be in for a long afternoon. Now, I'll tell you what, he's had 158 targets so far this season. They played 14 games. He's basically averaging over 11 targets a game. Unbelievable. 11 targets a game he's averaging. It's simply amazing. He has 111 catches, 1,623 yards. But I mean, not only that, I mean, then they got Adam Thielen. He's got 66 catches too, right? So I mean, their two top wide receivers have far more than anybody the Giants have, right? So the Giants are going to have their hands full. Now, as I said, the thing is that with Dalvin Cook, right? You got to keep him contained. Everybody rally to the ball. I'm sure he's going to get some yards. They don't run a lot, okay? They run the ball like 20 times a game. They're a passing team, all right? If that's the case, right, you know, Leo the Lion and Sexy Dexter have to dominate the middle. Pressure in Kirk Cousins' face, maybe send somebody or whatever, okay? But we have to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. If we can get pressure on Kirk Cousins, we can force him into some incompletions. We can force him into some possibly maybe some turnovers. Maybe we can get another strip sack from Mr. Kayvon himself, another strip sack with a fumble and all that. You know, that's going to be huge too. Huge. Well, one of the reasons why did the Giants win the football game last week? They got turnovers, right? We prevented Dexter Lawrence, tackled Heineke, was around the 10-yard line or so. That prevented a field goal from the Commanders. So there's 3 points. How did we get another 7 points? Kayvon Thibodeau, strip sack, picked the ball up, ran in the end zone. That's 10 points right there. Without those 2 plays, right, the Commanders win, right? How did we win? Well, we didn't turn the ball over, and we got turnovers, which took away, which was directly like 10 points. That's how we won. That's how we have to win. All right. It'd be hard, I think, you know, if we don't get it. I mean, we've only had 5 interceptions all year with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. We've only thrown 5, so that's huge. We don't fumble the ball a lot on offense, which is huge. Okay, and Kirk Cousins does throw interceptions. So if there's an interception, we need to pounce on it. All right, without question. But I mean, that's going to be the way the Giants are going to have to win this one. They're going to have to, you know, it's once again a team effort. Okay, we have to protect the ball, and we're going to need to get a couple turnovers. That would be absolutely huge. But I think that the Giants can go in there, and I think they can win this game. They have a lot more riding on it than the Vikings do. I mean, the Vikings lose this, they still won the division, right? You know, they're still in the playoffs, right? So I think the Giants can go on the road, and I think they can. I think they can win. I think it's going to be really, really close. Obviously, you know, I mean, whoever wins, I think it'll be like, you know, 1 score either way, right? Without question. Okay. I mean, if the Vikings win, I think it'll be like 27-20, something like that. Maybe 26-17 Vikings, you know, if the Vikings were to win. I'm gonna say the Giants will wind up winning this 24-23. I think, but maybe somehow we're going to get a late field goal from Mr. Graham Gano, where he doesn't have to worry about the wind at all or anything like that. And also, I think their kicker, okay, well, he's 20 out of 25. He's not good from long range. He's missed 5 field goals over 50 yards, so he's not good from long range. Our guy is, all right. So in the clutch, it comes down to it, all right. If we need one from over 50, we got the guy, all right. So I'm going to say the Giants are going to go on the road, and I think they're going to come out with the victory here, 24-23, because the Giants, the Vikings do not have a phenomenal defense. They give up a lot of yards. They give up a lot of passing yards. And the interior of their offensive line, okay, is very vulnerable. All right. So I think the Giants, if they can play a clean ball game, I think if they can, you know, avoid turnovers, and I know that's so easy to say, just I'm turning the ball over and you win. You know, yes. You know, I mean, it's so easy to say that. All right. But I think the Giants go in there, right? Not turn the ball over. Going to have to get a couple. We're going to have to get a couple. I really think to turn it, yeah, right, to win this one. But I think the Giants can go in there and pull this one out and be. I think I'm just going to say 24-23. I think because I think they can move the ball. Weak secondary on the Vikings part. I think the Giants, you know, can move it. I think they'll score some points. Okay. And I think if their defensive front can dominate, right, the way they can, I think that'll help out their secondary. Will be huge. Well, guys, it's been 34, almost 35 minutes. I tell you what, guys, it's unbelievable. It just seems like about 2 weeks ago. I was just thinking this to myself, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever. You know, I mean, it just seemed like it was a few weeks ago. I was just sitting there talking about the Giants beating the Titans. You know, I mean, it's just unbelievable. After tomorrow, guys, you realize we only got, well, hopefully we have more games in the playoffs. But you realize, I mean, there's only 2 games left in the season. Simply amazing how fast time flies. Absolutely amazing. Well, guys, let's enjoy the game tomorrow. Hopefully we come up with a W. And if we get a little bit of help, too, over the weekend, the Giants could quite possibly clinch their first playoff spot since 2016. Well, guys, as I said, it's been 35 minutes. We're getting close to 36 minutes now. Anybody spent any time at all watching this, once again, from the bottom of my heart, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Or if anybody spends any time at all, okay, watching the replay of this, once again, from the bottom of my heart, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah. All right.